men have sat on this table, but there can only be one show.
MTC Beats.
It's time for the Money Mind Mastery Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? My name is MP.
My name is Stefan, SB.
And today and forever always, we are the Triple M Podcast. Triple M's. I'm going to say it this time. Triple M stands for Money, Mind, Mastery. And today is a very special day. But before I announce this very special day, I want y'all to remember, don't forget to like,
Comment,
share,
subscribe,
and do all of that in
reverse.
the opposite of drive. So do that because it's going to help us get this amazing podcast in front of the people that needs to see this episode. So
Yes, sir.
Let's introduce this amazing guest today. So we have Mr. Michael Viloria, who is a pro boxer based out of Surrey, BC. His boxing debut was on July 22, where he claimed a unanimous decision victory, which launched his professional career. And he's been making waves ever since. MV right here is showing us that it's never too late to follow your passion and fight for your dreams. And he's also living proof that perseverance and strategic thinking can take you places in the ring. Without further ado, welcome MV. Welcome to Triple M's, baby.
Thanks for having me, man.
Well,
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Long time coming.
I'm excited to have you on. And before we get into the real meat and potatoes, we have something that we always start the episode off with. SB?
Gratitude series. So we always want to start it off on a positive note where we just want to say one thing that we're grateful for. I'll start. I'm grateful for the sport of boxing. You know, that's something that we all have in common here, and assuming that's how I'm meeting you right now. But yeah, I'm grateful for it, man. I was able to, exercise and learn to defend yourself, learn how to fight, and meet a lot of people. So I'm grateful for it.
And for myself, I'm extremely grateful for the people at Mendoza Boxing Club. Shout out Mendoza
Shout out
Boxing
to
Club.
Mendoza.
Y'all guys, all y'all coaches are literally built different. Literally built different. If you really want to build that mind, if you want to learn more about yourself, MBC is the way to go. Literally, the first class there, I went through hell and back. And I knew that I could do it. So I appreciate all you guys at NBC. You guys push us to be better. So extremely grateful for you guys, MV. Appreciate you.
Shout-outs.
For sure, man.
And MV, man, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for my future wife, Amber.
Congratulations.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Amber.
Yeah. We got engaged a couple months ago. And I'm grateful for her because, honestly, being a boxer, being a professional boxer, it's difficult, man. Like, you make a lot of sacrifices, but she's there every single step of the way. Like, that's not an exaggeration. She really is. When no one else is beside you at 3 a.m. in the morning and you're waking up, cold sweat, nervous and anxious, she's right there. She's my biggest fan and my toughest critic. So I love you.
Hell yeah. No, you really need like to have a good partner is essential.
Yep.
Right? Because a lot of people, a lot of partners will not really understand like the kind of stuff that fighters would have to go through. Because it really takes a lot out of both of you guys.
Yep.
And like the fact that she's there supporting and understands and is always willing to help out goes a long way, bro. So
Really, really big.
shout out to Amber. Y'all killing it, man. I'm excited for you guys. That's sick. So
Thank you.
MV, man, I'm excited to have you on the podcast. It's like you said, it's been a long time coming, and your story, you've told me so many times, and I can always listen to it over and over again. It truly is something special. So let's take it way back. Way back. How did you get started in combat sports?
Well, I actually started training when I was about 5 years old in Taekwondo in the Philippines. My dad didn't like the fact that I was overweight. And he lived in Canada at that time, right? So, and he wanted us to be in some sort of sport. And my dad being a combat sport fanatic, and also he trained and became karate champion back in the Philippines as well. He had some military background. My entire family, the Viloria side, right?
Yeah.
Have been like boxers and military men. And He didn't want us to just be homebodies,
Right.
Well, even my mom's side, to be honest, and my grandfather was a judo champion as well, so it kind of runs in the bloodline. And honestly, I didn't want to do it because I just wanted to stay home and play, man. Like me,
course, that's a
Terrence
kid.
and I. If I can show you guys a picture of Terrence and I when we were young,
Yeah.
man, we were like Pillsbury Doughboy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, like straight up, man.
Yeah.
Like tucked in shirt, massive bellies, and just jiggling all over the goddamn house. But but it's and my dad decided, hey, you guys got to do something.
Yep.
And so we started training Taekwondo. It was more for fun, like nothing crazy, nothing competitive. I did compete once. I got disqualified for punching somebody. Yeah. In Taekwondo, right? Like it's all kicking.
Kicks, yeah.
And this dude was just kicking me below the belt the whole time, and I was 5, right? So I had a temper tantrum. I took my headgear off and just smacked him in the face, and I got disqualified.
Damn.
I guess it's a foreshadowing for boxing.
I was just gonna say that's why you switched, huh?
It wasn't until I was about 13 years old that I first met Coach O'Neill. I've been with him ever since, right? I was bullied. We moved to Surrey, and I was jumped by this gang. Took my brother's basketball, and I was so mad because it's my brother's basketball. If it was mine, whatever. But it was my brother's. Right? It was Terrence's, and I took that very hard. And my dad saw how angry I was, but I didn't know how to release it.
Right.
And the fact that I didn't fight back really bugged him, and it bugged me. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, why didn't I do anything? Like I was just shocked, like a deer in headlights.
Right.
And so something really needed to change.
Yeah.
So my dad took me to, it was called Kikara Martial Arts back then in Guildford. And that's when I first met Coach O'Neill, and the rest is kind of history, right? Like I started training, and he started to see things about me that he could nurture, the competitive side, the killer instinct that he likes to call it. So he encouraged me. I was still a white belt, right? It was kickboxing, and we had like rankings and stuff. And that's when he encouraged me to test myself. Right. So like maybe 6-7 months in, I competed in my first tournament. I got silver. I lost the last round. My last fight. I still remember that guy. I don't forget the people who've beaten me, man. I have never forgotten them. I know their face. I know their style, and hopefully one day I can get that one back.
Cross paths, baby. Right. I'm gonna see you later.
I still remember it, man. Like
Yeah.
when I'm going for a run in the morning, I see that guy, and like because that was the first time I've ever lost to someone.
Right.
And I was like, nah. I'm taking this one to the grave
How
until I
did you
get that
feel
one
right
back.
after the fight?
I felt good. The fact that I went in there against someone who was much more experienced than I was. I was heavy, man. Like I was about 250 pounds at 13 years old.
Is there like I'm assuming there's a weight class.
There is, but nobody was in my weight class and my age. So they put me up against guys that are like 18, 19-year-old kids. And I was only 13.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you were there with an adult.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah. And he I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, man. He whooped me, bro. Like he whooped me. The first guy I fought, I whooped him.
Yeah.
It was great. But like, and the first two, yeah. And then when I faced that guy, man, he whooped me, dude. Like I still remember that beating. But regardless of that, of course I was disappointed I lost. But the fact that I could stay in there and compete. Have my hand raised and feel the elation of victory and the bitterness of defeat all within maybe an hour.
Yeah.
It's incredible. There's nothing like it, man.
It's real.
Even the bitterness of defeat was awesome to feel.
Right.
It's better than feeling absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So it was great. And I was addicted to it ever since then.
Right away.
Yeah.
Love it. So your first taste of martial or combat sports was in Taekwondo. And then the tournament that you were in, that was kickboxing, correct? How long were you in kickboxing for?
Oh, years, man. I would say until I was 25. So about 12 years.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 years in kickboxing. Most of my fights have been either in the States.
Yeah.
Here, yeah, there's a few here, but most of them were in the States. It was easier to get a fight there. I stopped for a bit, when I turned 16 because a teenager you wanted to kind of just
Other stuff you want to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
You just want to do stuff, right? And hang out with your friends, play some games. And I blew up even more. I was like from like 250 to like 285, almost 300 pounds. I was still training, but it wasn't serious, right? I wasn't competing. Like, my brother was. So he has a lot more fights than I do because of that.
Yeah.
And when I turned 19 though, and I knew something had to change. I was going up the stairs one day, man, and I was out of breath.
At 19.
I was out of breath, man.
Yeah.
Like everything I did, I was out of breath. Walking up and down the stairs, going to class, looking at myself in the mirror, and then just hating what I saw.
Right.
I talked to Sandeep. You know Sandeep. She's yeah. And I'm like, hey, Sandeep, something has to change. Like I need to change. I need to
Right.
lose some weight.
Yeah.
And she knew that was a long time coming, but she wanted it to come from me. And that's the thing. I think the biggest thing is a lot of people wanted me to lose weight throughout my entire life.
Right.
They were forcing me to do it, and it just never happened because I didn't want it.
To you. At the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah. And got to the point where it's so bad, like I hated myself. I did. Like that's not an exaggeration. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, man, I can't look at myself in a mirror. That's a problem.
That was it. Yeah.
Would you
Right.
say that was the biggest like turnaround?
Yes.
Okay, this is it.
Absolutely.
I'm done.
The fact that I can't look at myself in the mirror was bad.
Yeah.
Right. It seems so trivial, but if you can't do that, you can't see yourself.
Right.
That's tough, man. And I was depressed, and so she put me on a strict diet. I trained every day. From the month of May all the way to December, so that's about 6-7 months.
Yeah.
I lost 130 pounds.
Wow.
Damn. Hell yeah.
I was still in kickboxing.
Yeah.
Like train.
Yeah, so I was 150, and then I competed for the Muay Thai Team Canada selection in January 30th.
Yeah.
I came in third place. Second. I came in second place in that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I came in second place in that one, and they were gonna send me over to Victoria for a training camp, but I wanted to stay and learn more from Coach.
Yeah.
Right. And plus I was going to school here. As I was still in university at that time, so it just didn't line up. But after that, since then, it's just been go.
I love it, man. Now let me ask you this, because you've been in combat sports, you've been training for an extremely long time, like almost all your life. Would you say it changed your life?
Yes. It changed my life. I see that's the thing. Like people ask me if it did, and I'm kind of hesitant to say yes because I think it's been my life, right?
True.
Like it's always been a part of it.
Right.
It just surfaces on certain moments of my life, and it becomes much more obvious to me.
Right.
And the things that combat sport taught me, it kind of surfaces at the right moment in my life. So I can't really say it changed it, but it's been there.
Yeah.
I just refused to look at it before.
Right. Because it's part of your identity.
When
Yeah.
when you decided to actually start making the change, what did you do right after? Like, where did you go back? You went back to combat sports,
Absolutely.
kickboxing, right? So it's been there.
Always been there.
You just wasn't looking at the time.
I
and
wasn't
then-
looking,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's one of those things where it's the right place, right time. Everything's meant to happen at
Yeah.
a certain moment in your life. And we can't force things to happen because when we do, the universe will tell you, no, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. It's not the time.
Not up
No.
to you.
Yeah. So I want to talk about your kickboxing career and then your transition into boxing.
The boxing.
To boxing, as the Filipinos would call
Pinoy
it.
boxing.
The Filipino
Boxing.
boxing, right? Why did change? Like, what made you change from going from being a kickboxer to a boxer? Because they're two different disciplines.
From using your legs to stop using your legs.
Yeah.
Using your legs in a
A
different,
different way.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was a kickboxer, I used kicks, yes, but I was mostly enamored with the hands, right? The fists.
Right.
Everybody I watched, from Mike Tyson to Ali to Floyd to Pacquiao to Hagler, who's my favorite fighter of all time, by the way, and even the kickboxers that I loved watching had really great boxing, right?
Yeah.
Like Masato. He's from
Yeah.
Japan, right? Like he's the first guy to beat Buakaw in K1.
Beast.
Guys like Gokhan Saki, right? All those guys that had very good hands, I was just like, wow, that's incredible. The kicks were great. They're beautiful to watch, and they're deadly. But there's something about the hands that just captured me. So my fighting style has always been using my hands anyways.
Right.
So it made sense to transition to boxing.
I love it.
And it wasn't anything big that made me change. Like, Tyrone Spong, I don't know if you guys know him, but Tyrone Spong injured his shin and decided, I'm just gonna box, right, just to protect his body and his longevity. But to me, it was nothing like that. It was just it just kind of just happened.
Right.
Like our coach, he's good at everything. Anyways, like he's incredible, but I was always trying to emulate his hands, the way he punches, and he had a very long history of boxing in Winnipeg.
Nice.
As an amateur sparring with the pros.
Yeah.
He trained and sparred with Donnie Lalonde, the guy who fought Sugar Ray Leonard, right?
Damn.
Yeah, so he had a very long history in boxing
Yeah.
anyways. So again, it's one of those things where it just kind of happened naturally.
Love it. Were there any like big struggles transitioning from kickboxing to boxing? Because I know for me, I'll give you an example. Distance management. That was like the hardest thing for me because I could teep someone from a mile away, but then in boxing, I'm like, oh, I just got my jab. That's it. So what was the biggest struggle for you? Let's say struggle for you from transitioning from kickboxing to boxing.
To me, it was the stance.
Yeah.
Because as a kickboxer, you wanted to lay back a little bit, so you
Right.
have the front foot a little bit more mobile.
Right.
Checking kicks or teep.
Yeah.
Or staying away from the kicks. You didn't want to lean forward too much, otherwise you're going to catch something. The defense as well. Defense is very different.
True.
Right? In boxing, we have that way to move our heads and a freedom to do so. Drop your hands a little bit when you're down low. Kind of try to be slick a little bit. You can't do that with kickboxing, man. There's knees and kicks coming at you, right? You know what? Like, I think. Other than that, though, it was natural. All I had to do was really put my mind into it and discipline myself into doing so, and it just happened.
That's awesome. Well, I want to ask this question. Obviously, the last name, it's pretty big. Now, would you say that has a little bit of influence for you switching from kickboxing to boxing?
Yes. Now that you mention it, yes, absolutely. Brian Viloria, he's incredible fighter, right? And I loved watching him. I loved even the way all three of us, all the brothers, including Angelo and Terrence, we have this thing called the Viloria body shot. And it's a left hook to the body. And if you watch Brian Viloria fight, and that was his money punch.
Yeah.
Right? It was the left hook to the body. And it just kind of, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's like a bloodline thing.
Seems like
your
it is.
DNA to
You
throw
guys
it,
are
you know?
doing
Yeah,
it.
it's like, it just comes so naturally.
Yeah.
And we got our other cousin Justin just made his pro debut a couple months ago.
Showtime.
And
I
then
actually watched that.
and then fought when we were in Vegas. Actually, he was fighting just literally 5 minutes away from us.
That was the Rolly fight, right?
There was a Rolly
the
undercard.
Rolly
Dude's a beast, man. Like he just turned 18, monster. National champion like 4 times as a youth and as an adult. Part of the U.S. national team. So yeah, man. Like it's a big responsibility carrying that name.
100%.
Do you feel a lot of pressure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
Because people recognize the name.
Yeah.
When I was in Vegas and I met Fernando Vargas Jr. and Emiliano Vargas.
Yeah.
I told them my name is Michael Viloria, and they were like, "Oh man, it's another Viloria." And you know what I mean? The fact that because they spar, right?
Yeah,
Justin and El General, they call him, right?
Yeah.
So it's it was something. Like when I met those guys and they were like, "Oh, you're not a Viloria," that hit me like, holy smokes,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm not just a kid from Vancouver.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah, like I could be, you know what I mean? But I have to put in the same amount of work as those guys and more. Because again, I'm not in a place where it's the mecca of boxing.
Yeah, true.
Vancouver isn't. It's slim pickings here. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of work to do and have a very short time in doing so. And that requires a lot of mental strength to do it. Physical, yes, of course, it's a given. but the mental strength to do so and to switch on when you need to switch on,
Right.
that's when you need to be on it.
Damn, you stay ready, MV. Yeah, your mind is strong, bro.
Yeah.
And we'll go into your mind later because that's the thing I really want to just really dissect because you have the strongest mind, and it's one of those things that not a lot of people have, but need to start building.
Yes.
Right, especially in the sport that we have, because I see it a lot in sparring. I see it sometimes with me. If I get hit with a nice cross, I'm like, oh, it's on. Here we go. We're
Here we
90%.
go.
But then I have to think, wait, we're training, right? You
Yeah.
always have to take a step
Protect
back.
yourself.
Right?
How
Exactly.
about that? Dodge the punch.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You always have to learn.
That's the
As soon as you get
punch.
hit, why'd you get hit? Oh yeah.
Now you're mad? You should be mad at yourself.
Exactly. I should
That's
be.
me
Right.
every time
That's
I-
exactly.
That's what my
it.
coach tells me. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, bro, it hurts,
Right.
man.
But
It hurts you. I'm punching back.
we'll dive into the mind after. But I want to talk about pro boxing first.
Yeah.
Right? You had your pro debut last year, July, and you came out with a dub, man. That
Dubby.
fight was war.
Oh, I
bro.
watched it. It was a brawl.
Dude, it was a brawl.
War.
Walk us through your first fight. Walk us through the emotions, everything from the very beginning, from the walk-in, all that stuff, bro.
Oh man, where do you want me to start? Well, the day of the fight, I got into the locker room, and I was some reason every time, even in my past fights, I would be a nervous wreck the whole time, even during the warm up or the wait for the warm up in the locker room.
Right.
But I was relaxed, man. It was a strange feeling to me. It was like I was at peace. Because I remember waking up that exact day, I turned over and told Amber, today I am ready to die. I hope he is too.
It's ready.
So I got into the locker room and I was at peace. And all the way up to the warm up, I knew I had a job to do, and that job was the person in front of me.
Wow.
And I remember warming up and them calling my name. Hey, you're on deck. And my coach, he put the pads away, slapped me in the back, and then I started bouncing on my feet. Then everybody else in the locker room that was going to be on my corner, and all my supporters, my sparring partners are all in there, bouncing with me. I turned around and I told them the same thing I told Amber. I'm prepared to die. Turned around, walked out, and man, I couldn't even hear the crowd.
Wow.
I couldn't. Got in the ring, it was the longest walk, but at the same time it was so short. And I entered that ring and the lights were so bright. And for some reason my opponent looked bigger than he actually is. The ring looked so small. Got to the corner, faced off against him. Looked at his eye, and he without saying it, he's like, "It's on, right?"
Mm.
And I knew what I had to do. I had to use my feet. I had to box him, to keep turning him. He doesn't have footwork. His fundamentals are out of whack. I can do this. But then he took the middle of the ring, and I took offense to that.
This is my house.
Yeah. So it's like, if that's the fight you want, I'll give it to you.
Damn.
And yeah, you know what? He hit me in the first 15, 20 seconds of that fight. He had, is his experience versus my, inexperience in terms of the pro ring. He already had 3 pro fights then, and he had over 150 amateur fights. So his experience showed. And he hit me with his uppercut and the jab. And I'm like, man, those felt like pillows. I can take this shit all day.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can take mine. And that fight showed. It may look different from the outside, but he knew what I was doing to him. He knew exactly what I was doing to him, and it showed. He knew. And I knew.
Yeah.
I can hurt him and he couldn't hurt me. There's a beauty in that. Yeah, the whole time I was having fun because I'm like, man, all these guys, my training partners knew. They knew what I was doing because I was doing the same thing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what I was doing to this guy. And one of my sparring partners, his name's Philip. He's a beast. His dad, he told the other guy's coach before the fight began, he goes, I hope your guy's in good shape because Michael's a dog.
Warned him.
Yeah.
He warned him.
Warned him.
And you know what, man? He was in shape. I was just better.
Yeah.
You were more prepared, bro. You wanted it more than him.
That was a great fight, man. That was a really good fight.
And yeah, man. And I knew I won that fight. I knew it. The scores were 50-45. I won every round.
Damn.
Every round. Ain't no close fight.
Shut up.
Yeah. Ain't no close fight.
Nothing.
Hell no.
4-0.
That was unanimous.
Yeah. So I want to dissect that a bit, because dude, that was just watching it from online. The intensity was there, right? I saw your coach just slapping you around a little bit. Was it? I think it was around after the first round. What did he tell you at that point?
Wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know what? When you're in a fight and you get back to the corner, you were in a place of chaos and you get lost in it sometimes. And I do.
Still in the
And a good coach, he's a great coach because he knew I was still lost. I was still in that round that just ended. So he slapped me and said, oh, no, buddy. We're on the next round now. What are you going to do? And that's what he asks me every single time I get back to the corner. What are you going to do? It's not, he won't give me too many advice or too many technical stuff because I already know that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you're in a corner, you don't need to hear that. What you need to hear is you're in there. You see things that he does, and he sees things I don't. True. So when he does see something that I don't see, he'll let me know. Yeah. But every single time he would ask me, regardless of whether he's going to give me advice or not, is what are you going to do? Right? Because it brings me back. It brings me back to the moment.
Yeah. I was just going to say, because I haven't had a pro fight nor any amateur fight, but every time I spar and you get into the zone, I don't hear anything. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really important when that little step is like, hey, get out of that zone for a bit. What are you gonna do?
Yes, yes, and that's what makes him such a great coach. And man, like it's hard not to want to do everything you can for him because of that. Right. You know, so whatever he tells me to do, I try to do it right away. There was a clip of me hitting Archer right in the body and hurting him, but people don't hear in the background was coach yelling left to the body, and literally a split second after I hit that left to the body.
Wow!
Boom!
Just did it as soon as he called it. You did it.
Yes. It's that simple. You listen to the man that raised you and made you a beast.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course. Bro, that's unreal. That's unreal, man.
Watch that clip again.
Yeah.
Watch that clip again. You're going to hear him yell in the background, left to the body. And a split second later, I hit that left to the body.
Next thing you know.
Yeah.
Right? Damn, that's sick. Now it all makes sense now. When we're training at NPC, when they're calling, Marvin, and you look at him, don't look at me.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
So that's what you're training.
And when we do our drills, in the beginning, you know how I'm counting, and I need you guys to give me that response right away. Like, what? That's training that.
Whoa, makes sense.
Yeah,
buddy, that's unreal. So the first pro fight, that's just your intensity, man. When you were telling the story, I was just there. I could feel it.
Goosebumps.
I'm like, dude, literally. I'm like, dude.
I was picturing the moment. I wanted to close my eyes to be like, what is he trying to say?
So I want to talk about the transition, man, from amateur to pro. Were there any, like, obviously there's a big difference between like how you fight and all that stuff, but the mental aspect, the physical aspect, strategical aspect, were there any like shifts that you had to make when you were transitioning from an amateur boxer to a pro boxer?
Yeah. Let's start with the equipment. I think the equipment actually makes a big difference. In amateurs, you're wearing these like Sting gloves.
Right.
They're great for amateurs, but like horrible for pros. Not Sting in general, but that's the type of glove they use for amateurs. Yeah, they have a lot of padding on the knuckle area. They're longer instead of a more compact boxing glove. So and that's made to protect the fighters, not just from hand injury, but from trauma. Right.
Right.
Wearing the headgear makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
I hated wearing the headgear in the amateurs because I felt claustrophobic.
Right.
And I felt like I got hit more because it's
like
tighter. And the fact that in the amateurs the rules and the officiating is there to protect you.
Right.
They really are. They really are. Like I've won fights where I would literally just snap the guy's head back with a right cross. He wouldn't be really hurt, but it looked like he did. And they'll be like, okay, that might be a whiplash, right? So they'll give him a count or they'll stop. And they're there to protect the fighters because they might be fighting week after week after week after week, right? For the pros, it's a little bit different. It's an entertainment. You're a business now, right?
True.
The officiating is a little more free, right? You know, like in that fight, I was using my forearms, using my elbows, all that stuff. And so the training is a little bit different because now you're training to fight, not so much to compete. It's a big difference.
Big difference, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And in the pros, the preparation is a little bit different too. You have a specific opponent that you're preparing for. The rounds right now, since I'm just starting out, it's 4 rounds. It's not that big of a jump from 3 minutes.
Right.
Right. But so the pacing is still similar. It's not until you get to the 6, to the 8, to the 10, to the 12 that the pacing gets a little bit different. It's a little slower. I think that's what I can say would be the biggest difference.
I want to take it back a little. Well, it's pretty much the same question, but it's a little different, obviously. Being a school teacher, transitioning from that to actually being a pro boxer. Talk about that.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I forget I was a teacher.
Because those are totally different things.
Two worlds, man.
I quit my job last year. It's you know what, man, like it kind of in the beginning there it was hand in hand, right? Because I was teaching not because I liked it, but it's because I wanted it to fund my boxing career.
Okay.
Right. So it's and I enjoyed it. Like the kids are great. It's the administration part of it that I hated, like the politics that you got to play and But the kids are amazing, man. Like they bring so much joy, and the fact that you have the power to shape the future generation, it's incredible. 100%. But it is absolutely exhausting because you give so much of yourself throughout the day. True. So it's hard when I get off work and then I go to training. Yeah, it's different. I have to have a transition where I could just decompress and then go train. I can't just go from school back to the gym. It's different from other jobs, right?
True.
But yeah, man, like now it's just boxing.
Now I want to
meat and potato.
Do the meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes,
I'm vegetarian, bro.
Are you vegetarian now?
I am.
Damn, nice, man.
The potatoes.
Yeah, just the potatoes.
With just the potatoes.
Yeah,
potatoes and corn.
We're doing just the potatoes, man. We want to talk about the mindset part of it, because boxing, you really have to be sharp, right? You can't have a bad day when you're having a fight. That's the last thing. But with boxing, I like to think, well, it obviously is like a game of chess, right? It's not mostly just a physical contest. Can you walk us through like the strategic thinking and like the mental game required when you're actually fighting?
Now, a lot of it has to do with discipline, right? That's number one. You got to be disciplined. You can't be a fighter and have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah,
true.
Right. And the discipline of getting up in the morning, your body's in pain, it's cold outside, you're sleeping with a beautiful girl, soft sheets. You don't want to leave.
It's easy to stay.
It's very easy to stay, but having the discipline to get out there and make yourself uncomfortable. That itself is the first step to becoming a fighter, because fighting is uncomfortable.
Yep.
Very uncomfortable. It's stressful. But I believe, and I think a lot of like modern day thinkers will support me on this. Human beings are meant to be stressed out. We were meant to go through stressful situations. We shouldn't look for ways to not be stressed. Fighting is stressful. Training camp is stressful. Running in the morning is stressful. Taking a cold bath first thing in the morning is stressful. Yep. Wow, I did a Mike Tyson there. First.
Shout outs to Mike Tyson.
We are meant to go through stressful situations, and we have to accept that as a fighter. And if you don't, then everything else doesn't matter. If you have a great training program or a great coach, great teammates, great preparation, you're in shape. If you don't have the ability to perform under stress and have the discipline to stay focused while everything around you is in chaos, you will fail. Your personal life, no matter how chaotic that could be, has no place in the ring. It doesn't. It really doesn't, because it will show. Teddy Atlas said it best. The ring is the chamber of truth. No matter what you do, in the darkness will eventually come to light under those bright lights. So if you have stuff in your personal life that needs to be taken care of, take care of it. And if you can't, don't bring it to the gym. Don't bring it to your fighting, because you will get hurt. Right?
Yeah.
The greatest example, modern day, Tank Davis. He has a lot of personal stuff going on.
Right.
But can you tell?
No.
Because he has the discipline to go, I have a job to do right now. That's for later.
True professional.
That guy is in now.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? Having that discipline to go, whoop, pow, I'm in the gym.
First,
Let's go.
Wow.
Right?
That's powerful.
That's focus. That's discipline.
Yeah.
It's not just discipline of working hard. Sure, everybody can do that. Anyone can do that. But the discipline to go, okay, whatever it is happening in my life right now, it's happening. And I can't change that.
Yep.
But there's one thing I can control.
It's this
Okay?
in front of me.
It's this.
Yeah.
I can control this. Then control it. Control the controllables. If the uncontrollables can be controlled, leave it out.
That's powerful. I have a question though. Now that you just had your first fight and leading on to the second one, you obviously talked about the mindset. But is there something different that you're doing this camp that you didn't or did do last time?
Yes, we do have actually quite a big difference from my past camps, so to speak. In my past amateur career, is we have a healer. We have a healer. He not only does he do adjustments and physiotherapy and stuff like that, but he changes your entire outlook on your nutrition and the way you should be living. Right? He's like a life coach, yes. Chiropractor, yes. Massage therapist, yeah. Great, he does all that, but he changes the way you look at stuff and the way you think about your body and your mind.
Wow.
Right? And the biggest thing my biggest takeaway from him is that everything that we need has been provided by the earth. The earth provides everything. It's already there. We don't need synthetic chemicals to feel good. He got me off coffee.
Wow.
Because coffee, he said, is bad for your bones when you're fighting, because it takes out all the calcium and the magnesium from your bone marrows. Yeah. So, he got me off coffee and got me more on natural energy stuff, right? There's this thing. It's actually been used in Ayurveda for a long time in India, right? It's called haritaki, elderberry. I could name them all, but if you guys want to learn more, talk to actually him, and he's in the gym most of the time.
Yeah.
And he adjusts my body, and after sparring or after a hard session, he would do an adjustment, and it's different. It's a different adjustment coming from him than a chiropractor,
right?
Because he does it a full 2-hour session, just going through your entire body, going through the entire body.
Yeah.
And I've never felt better because like when I got injured, he wasn't here, right? When I got injured, my hip flexors were torn. When he got here, and I was already in like pain times 10,000.
Right.
And he was fixing me up. He was telling me, okay, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. You need to start like stretching and start, like specific stretches too. Like I've been stretching, but it's like specific ways that you should be doing it. But also stop eating certain foods, even though you think they're healthy. When you're injured, you actually have to change your diet, right? Like, yeah, you actually there's certain foods that you should be avoiding when you're injured.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. So that like acidic foods eventually made my injuries worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the nutritional aspect.
Yes.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Huge.
Like it's not just you gotta make weight, so you have to
gotta
train and cut this, cut that. Like eat this. Our body has specific needs. Each one of us has specific needs.
True.
And for me, I can't have red meat.
Wow.
Yeah. And as a Filipino person,
Oh,
buddy,
It's impossible.
dude.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Almost
I
impossible.
love my steak. I love all that stuff, but it was making my injuries worse because meat doesn't process in our body fast enough so that the energy that our body's using to actually heal me is using it to digest the meat.
Right. Dude,
Yeah.
that's unreal.
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
So just like the different outlook on that, like coffee as well, because it was weakening my cartilage. It was taking like, yeah, sure, you hear coffee has this alertness thing, and it's helping you what do you call it, lose weight or something, or diuretic, right? But the diuresis part of it is the thing that makes it bad.
Damn.
Right, it messes with your blood flow. It messes with the nutrients in your bones, in your cartilage, in your ligaments. And when I stopped drinking coffee, I was less sore every single training session. It was weird, man. Like I wasn't as sore. I've had for the longest time. I've had this shoulder problem that that had every time I threw a right hook, I would feel a sharp pain, even during fights.
Yeah.
Right, and that was even during my pro debut.
Yeah.
But like when I got off coffee, I'm throwing the right hook like it's Sunday, like.
Unreal.
That's the importance of details in that. Oh,
Yes,
That's crazy.
yeah, and he's so knowledgeable, man. Like you talk to him about that, and plus, you do have to grow a thicker skin because he will tell you to stop doing certain things. You're gonna be like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Are you serious right now, man?
Yeah. And then he tells me people shouldn't be drinking tap water. You gotta, water is healing, and you have to drink high quality water.
I can see that. Yeah.
You have to drink high quality water, like either spring water or pH water,
Yeah.
right? You have to.
True.
Like this, great. You should be drinking spring water.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I was looking at it.
Yeah. That's
Is that the right one?
That's good water, man. And
Right.
it really changed my entire outlook on just like what I need to eat during fight camp, even when I'm not in fight camp.
Yeah.
Keeping myself healthy because I do want to live longer, man. Like I do.
That's always the game, right?
Yeah.
It's always a marathon, not a sprint. Let's move on to like the pressure, self-doubt. I know you gave me a lot of good advice when I almost had my first fight.
Yeah.
You remember that conversation?
Yeah,
I called
yeah.
you, I messaged you, yo, MV, you got a minute to talk? And he was like, this is weird. What's up? I told you, I remember this. I'm extremely nervous to hop into the ring. Before I wasn't, but now that it's like 2 weeks in advance, about 2 weeks coming up, I'm like, dude, I'm about to like fight someone. Actually get hurt. And like, did you? I know you mentioned on your pro debut you didn't feel that at all. You're ready, but before when you're amateurs, did you feel that at all? Like that nervousness, pressure. Did you have any self doubt? Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I still do. I still feel that. Like going up to my pro debut is just like that day that I was already there. It was
Right.
It was at peace, and what I need to say to young fighters as well who wants to start competing, and they tell me they're nervous, and I have to tell this to myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's your body telling you you're ready. When you're nervous, that's your fight and flight response. And what matters is what you do next. That feeling is just a feeling. Fear, anxiety, that's just a feeling. The more you give it power, the more it will have power over you, right? So don't give it shape, don't give it form. It's just a feeling. You're nervous? Great. If you weren't, I'd be worried about you.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy that you're saying that you're nervous, because if you weren't, I'm telling you not to fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That confirms it, because Kent said the same thing, right? It's like, it's just human nature. to
Yeah.
get nervous. If you're not nervous, bro, get out of there.
Yeah, get out. Get out. You shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As either you're a psychopath or you shouldn't be there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, it all makes sense. You know, that's something that has protected us for eons.
Yeah.
Right? It's that fight and flight response. We see, you know, our ancestors sees a friggin' saber-toothed tiger. You think they're not nervous? Oh, man, they're there.
Yeah.
Right? But it's that same fight or flight response, that same nerves that takes that spear and stabs that saber-toothed tiger in the neck.
True.
It's just the same thing. We use that. We use fear. We use the nervousness to keep ourselves sharp. Yeah. And it's just normal, man. Like, it's a normal response. You're supposed to feel that way. That's it.
That's true. That's true. You just gotta just do it, man. Right?
Yeah.
You know what you signed
What's
up for.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. What's the worst that
You're
could
gonna
happen?
lose in front of yeah. You think the people around you is gonna stop loving you because you lost? You think your parents are gonna disown you because you lost? Your wife, your kids are gonna hate you because you lost? No, man. Your gym mates are gonna think differently of you? No, they loved you already.
Yeah.
True.
You've already made them proud. You
Yeah.
already did.
The
Just go out there,
The
man.
fact that you're stepping in the ring is already big enough, man. That's a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like what we always talk about, dude. The training camp is no joke,
No,
dude.
he isn't.
Not at all, man. Not at all, bro. So, I wanted to ask you, for someone that wants to get into boxing, because it seems like, it doesn't seem, but I know it's starting to get more and more and more popular.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've noticed it, right?
Yeah.
What is some advice that you'd give someone that's interested in pursuing boxing, but they just don't know where to start?
You know what? Honestly, go to a boxing gym and talk to you know what? Honestly, not even talk to a coach. Go to a boxing gym, ask if you can sit and watch. That's it. Ask, because it's different if watching it on YouTube and all that.
Yeah,
It's so glamorous, and just ask, hey, can I sit and watch and see what this is like? If you want to get started, do that. You know, when you get when you soak in the energy of a boxing gym and you soak in the energy of the boxers in the ring, and that's something you want to do. You confirm that that's what you want to do. Do it, man.
Wow.
That's it. Soak it in. Soak it all in person.
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, social media, obviously, right? It's totally different when you're actually in a boxing gym. And I totally agree.
Yeah.
You see those like those pad works and all that, right? But in your boxing gym, man, you also see the culture.
Yeah.
You know, how other people support each other and stuff. So.
And every gym has a different culture.
True.
Right? So, like, find a gym that works with you. However, if you do find a gym and the first thing that coach tells you is it teaches you how to punch instead of how to defend yourself, find a different gym.
Yeah, Marv.
What do you mean? I'm
you
a good gym.
No, it's a different gym. You said you came from a different gym. You moved to that.
That's true.
gym.
That's true. Yeah. I did come from a different gym.
Boxing is feet first.
Yeah, always is. Always. I learned that the hard way. When I keep falling over my legs, I'm like, dang, man, I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And now, as far as like, you know, your training camps go, how do you stay motivated, man? Like, you know, there's going to be a lot of times where you're just like, man, I got to wake up today. Obviously, your discipline comes in. I have to do it anyways. But how do you stay motivated and focused leading up to the fight?
Focus is fear. Fear keeps me focused. You know, all the facets of fear of getting hurt, fear of getting embarrassed, fear of losing, all that stuff. It keeps me focused, keeps me in check, right? I was just talking about it earlier. You know, you got to use that stuff. As far as being motivated, man, there's a lot of days I'm not motivated. And there's nothing that can get me motivated. And that's where, as you said, discipline comes in. Because, like, motivation is sunny days. You know, discipline is the storm.
Right.
You gotta You got to be able to run on rainy days. You got to be able to train on days where you're sore as all hell. And motivation is not always going to be there.
That's true.
A lot of the days I'm not motivated. I'm not. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat that or lie.
Yeah.
I'm not motivated. I don't wanna put myself through a 3-hour training session, you know?
Yeah.
But a discipline gets you there. And then you know what? Like there are I will say this though. If I'm really lacking that motivation and I wanna be motivated, there's this one clip that I would say changed my life. And I was talking about it earlier when I looked at myself in the mirror and hated what I saw and lost a bunch of weight. And there's this one clip. It's from an anime called Hajime no Ippo. It's a boxing anime. There was one clip where he was in the ring and he was fighting for the Japanese Boxing Council Championship against this guy named Sendo. And he goes back to the corner and he was losing the fight. It was a close fight. He's losing the fight. Man, animes get really intense. And he was losing the fight. And his coach says, "Hey, are you still in there?" And the only thing he said was, "What does it mean to be strong?" And that spoke to me, and I watched it over, and I would always play it back over and over again until it became my own voice instead of his.
Right.
And to this day, I'm still trying to answer that question. And that's how I stay motivated, because I want to find the answer. I want to answer that question for myself. What does it mean to be strong? Does it mean winning? Does it mean getting in the ring? Or something completely different? Mm-hmm. I think that's what my life purpose is. I need to know the answer, and boxing is an avenue to do so.
That's deep, man. Hella deep. I like that though, man. We're just trying to find the answers.
Yeah.
And how do we do it? By following our path.
Yeah.
Going.
Right? One step at a time, you know? Like you always say. So no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that answer, man. Now, the last thing that I wanted to kind of touch on, because having conversations with you over the past, it's been 2 years now. Like I mentioned, you have the strongest mind. Strongest mind.
Strongest mind.
Right?
Why is Mike
Tyson coming out today,
Shout
man?
outs to Mike.
Dude, I swear he's thinking of us or something, right? But to take us back, you've had some challenges with mental health, right? And used boxing as an avenue to really get you out of dark rooms. How did it help you exactly? I want to really pick this apart, because a lot of people will need to hear this.
Boxing with my mental health is like, it changes my mindset, like how opening a window changes a dark room. In a dark, like when you're in darkness, you're looking for air. That's the first thing you feel when you're stuck in the darkness of your own mind, the recesses of your darkness, is you don't actually look for the light. You're looking for a way to breathe. Because, remember, first thing they say when you're having a panic attack, breathe. It's not look at this, look at that. It's not sight. It's the first primal thing that we do as a human being when we're born is to breathe. Right? So it's the first thing we look for, because we die every time we fall into depression. A part of us dies. So a part of us wants to be reborn. Right? So the first thing we look for is the ability to breathe. And through boxing, it makes the world a little smaller. Small enough that it doesn't become overwhelming. And when things aren't overwhelming, you're able to breathe. And to me, that's what it represents, right? And it is just the biggest, metaphor for the things that we fight every day anyways, right? True. Throwing a punch, getting hit back because life's going to hit you. What are you going to do? Are you going to shell up? Are you going to move? Are you going to remember what you've learned? Because we've learned how to deal with depression. We have. Throughout our life, we've learned how to do it. We just have to bring it out. It just has to surface. Just like your toolboxes when you're fighting, right? When you slip to the right, there's an uppercut or there's a right hand that you can throw. Or are you just going to slip to the right and leave, right? There are different ways to do it. It's there. You know it. But you need to breathe, right? And that's what boxing is to me.
I love it, man. And I want to give, I just want to say that, like I always tell you, like, you have the strongest mind. I have the highest respect for everything that you've accomplished and that you've experienced, because it's not easy, bro. No. A lot of the stuff that you've gone through, it's not easy. So I have the biggest respect
Thank you.
for everything that you've
Thank
done.
you.
And bro, kudos to you, brother.
Thank you.
I really do mean it. So
Thank you.
I'm excited to just see you pop off and just keep on growing, because this is just the start.
Yep.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
My last question. I guess I'm gonna answer the last. I'm gonna ask the last question, but my second to last question here is: obviously, you have the fight coming up, July 20th. What do you want to accomplish after that, or what's the end goal here for you?
I want to be world champion. I need it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
It's
World
not just
champ.
I want it. Like, of course, people want to be. I need it. I need it to answer my question.
You heard it here first.
You're here first, guys. This is it, man.
Yes, sir.
1 year from now, 2 years from now, we're gonna revisit this. And next thing you know, we're gonna have the WC belt right here.
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna be carrying it during the session.
He's the one carrying it,
I'll give it to you.
Like this. So it's kind of heavy.
right?
Just pause. Time out.
Shoulder hurts, man. God damn. That's exciting, man. I'm pumped for that. So we'll be here to support you every step of the way, brother.
Thank you.
So I'm pumped.
Last question. Who should be our next guest on this podcast? And once you say that person's name or persons, like it could be more than one, you gotta help us. We gotta help us get that person.
100%. Okay, I already thought about this. First, you got to get my brother Terrence in here.
Done.
Terrence.
And next, you have to get my coach O'Neill. You got to get him in here. Like,
Done.
He actually followed us today. Shout out.
if
to
you
Coach
if you think I'm an interesting person and I have a lot of things to say, wait until you talk to him.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had the avenue to do so, and if you guys can give him that avenue, man, the world will know why I love this man to death.
Oh man, we will get him.
No, we will, 100%. And I want to talk about that a little bit more. One last time, because like, dude,
It opened up,
No,
huh?
you're totally right. Like, just every interaction I've had with Coach O'Neill, it's always been a positive, interesting conversation. Yeah. And I can see why you've stuck around for 13.
Oh man, like
Since he
18
started.
years.
So he's literally your second dad.
Yeah.
He literally knows
Yes.
you. He knows how you think. He knows how you're wired.
Yeah.
You found him at, what was that gym called again?
Kikara. Yeah.
Right? And from there, he stuck with you the whole time.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
you don't find that a lot, bro.
No.
No.
Right?
You don't.
What made you stick with him?
And it's exactly that, because he loved me, man. He still does. And he doesn't have to say it. You just feel it. You know?
Yeah.
He really cares about me. And that's hard to find. Even like, no matter where I was in life, no matter whether I was successful, whether I was failing, he was there. Him and his wife, Sandeep, both of them. You know, you actually have to get both of them on the podcast. You know what? Like, yeah, the three, Terrence, Sandeep, and Coach O'Neill. You have to.
Awesome.
You guys have to. But yeah, that's exactly it, man. Like, it's not just his knowledge. I didn't, like, he has a lot of knowledge in terms of of fighting and combat, but it wasn't just that, man.
Yeah.
You know, like that was just a cherry on top.
Yeah.
But the fact that this guy was willing to give his life and his time and his energy and give it willingly, not because he has to, but because he wants to, because he loves me. Man, like, why would I go anywhere else?
It's a fact. It's a fact. So now, last thing, then we'll cut it. So because I really want to know these things, bro. Like, well, and I want other people to know about this too.
Yeah.
So number one, Coach O'Neill cared for you, and that was like the biggest thing,
Yeah.
right? What other things should new people that are looking to get into the sport look for a good coach, a lifelong coach?
That's exactly that, man. You have to look for a coach that really cares about you, and you will know. You will feel it. As a human being, you will just know. I can't tell you exactly what the detail is, but when you meet a person, you know. right? It's kind of like honestly, it's like meeting the one,
partner.
like when meeting your partner, you just know, you know, and it's not like it's kind of like how Tyson met Customato, or Ali and Angelo Dundee, or Pacquiao and Freddie Roach,
Yeah.
Floyd and his uncle,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a certain chemistry that you cannot replicate, and it doesn't come from talking; it comes through action. When you guys see Coach O'Neill hold pads for my brother and I, he doesn't say a word.
You just get it.
I know exactly what he wants me to do.
Wow. You're just flowing.
Yeah. And that's the chemistry you can't replicate, right? You could have the most brilliant coach in the world, but if you can't click with them, it's not going to work.
That's good.
That's
Can't wait
powerful.
to meet him.
No, I know. I can't wait for you to be. It's
The
gonna be
other
amazing.
side.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So it's always good to see like all the sides of the sport that we're in.
Yeah.
Right. Just from the competitive side to the business side to the coaching side. It's
side.
just interesting to see how everything just progresses. Right. So, Coach MV, Michael Viloria, Habibi.
Thanks for
I
having
appreciate
so
me.
you
much,
for coming,
sir.
brother.
Thank you.
And
Where can they
we gotta,
find you?
we gotta plug your socials, man. Where can people find MV?
Okay, don't follow my personal account, but follow my boxing account, M Viloria Boxing, on Instagram. That's pretty much my only social media, and I am pretty active on there. So yeah, just follow my stories. I post a lot of boxing, a lot of my dog too. But you know, yeah. So, if you guys have any questions, you guys do want to get started in boxing, you know, just shoot me a DM. You know, been in this game for a long time too. So
Don't be afraid to do a cold DM, man, because he'll be there right for you. All right.
July
And-
20th, though. Don't forget.
Yeah, July
yeah,
20th.
yeah.
The fight is not at Grand Villa this time. It's at the River Rock.
River Rock.
July 20th. You'll see all the links in his bio as soon as the tickets start coming out.
Yes.
Tickets on sale yet?
Ticketmaster,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, Ticketmaster. So until next time, guys, my name is MP.
Stefan, SB, and we have...
MV up in this.
Yes,
Be
sir.
the quadruple M's this time. Until next time, guys, we out.